Hey everyone, Carl here with Literate Lessons, bringing you a deep dive featuring Heatran this week. Heatran is your poll winner from last Friday to celebrate Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl's release. Heatran's a very interesting Pokemon, being Fire Steel type and not technically a restricted Pokemon. But before we get started on Heatran, make sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications for when new videos go live, and go check out Carter's stream. He should be live as of the upload, or he may be getting ready to go live. He'll be playing through Pokemon Shining Pearl. I'm not sure if he'll be doing any kind of challenge or anything for that, but definitely go check him out, twitch.tv/Mr. Missouri 25. Heatran overall is a very interesting Pokemon. It doesn't offer a ton in the form of unique roles. It is very much just like a standard special attacker. However, it boasts a really popular type, a really cool typing in Fire Steel. It's very, very powerful and has some decent bulk, being a Steel type. However, it lacks in overall speed, so it's a little bit harder to play with than most. Base 77, if I remember correctly. And overall, it's very powerful in a Dynamax format. Being able to do max Steel Spikes, max Quakes with little to no downside. You get max Flare to beat up opposing Sun teams and things like that. You could even set Sun for yourself to change whether against a Kyogre or something. So anything that doesn't have a good threat against a Heatran means that Heatran can just Dynamax in front of it, bulk up a little bit depending on what the opponent has, and then take it from there. Heatran's history in the format is a little hit or miss, I would call. It sees a lot of play in the non-restricted formats in Series 9, Series 7, stuff like that. It saw a little bit of play in the non-Dynamax format of Series 10, but definitely is a better pick in the non-restricted formats, mainly due to the fact that Heatran's powerful typing doesn't mean a whole lot when there's Zacians, Kyogres, Groudons, and all these other powerful restricteds running around that can hit Heatran for super effective damage. The big things that Heatran has going for it, though, are that Fire Steel typing, and it's just really deep coverage pool. It has Dark moves, Dragon type moves, ground moves, Steel moves, Fire moves, Rock moves. There's a whole spectrum of moves that Steel types normally don't get access to, that Heatran can get to kind of annoy an opponent with. Common partners for Heatran tend to be those that are good pivots for it. When you think about Heatran being a Fire Steel type, it has a very big ground weakness, so a lot of Heatran's partners are there to help its survivability. When you think about it, you think about good ground resists or immunities like Celesteela or Rillaboom. Grimmsnarl is also a good partner, mainly due to just being able to set up screens and having access to moves like Scary Face or Thunder Wave. Since Heatran's speed is so low, it lets you utilize Heatran a little bit better to outspeed or deal more damage with things like Fake Tears as well. Other considerations are things like Landorus Therian. That's a great pivot in my opinion, being able to intimidate while also being a ground immunity, fighting type resistance. Unfortunately isn't a water resistant, so you do have to watch out there. However, teams usually play Regieleki to deal with a water type weakness of Heatran. Eleki is something we don't see a whole lot of right now, I feel like. People have kind of swapped back over to Thundurus as the main electric type that they're playing with, so seeing Regieleki get a little bit of love here is kind of nice. Looking at the metagame breakdown for Heatran here, we see that Flash Cannon and Heat Wave are the most played moves. To the surprise of no one, the powerful stab moves are finally back on top. After a week or so of seeing Protect as the #1 move, it's nice seeing that these damage stab moves are back on top. Protect here didn't go very far, down to third most used at 95%, so just barely underneath these two. When it comes up next to forms of coverage moves, we see Earth Power at 84. Other coverage moves you can get are Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse, or Ancient Power. You don't see or think about these too terribly much, mainly due to the fact that your Heatran doesn't really need it. But if you're an Assault Vest Heatran, or just really want that other coverage move instead of Protect, you have other options to look at. Substitute is something else that's kind of cool. Substitute plus an air balloon means that you can avoid ground type hits. and you get to eat at least another hit before Air Balloon gets popped and whatnot. Speaking of Air Balloon here at 43% usage, Shuka Berry at 36. These two are your anti-ground techs that you play. Ground type is a very popular type when it comes to Dynamax due to Max Quake, and being 4 times weak to it means that you're going to be expecting to see that a ton when you're playing Heatran. So having a good answer in either Air Balloon or Shuka Berry means that you get to extend your life a little bit. Other items are Assault Vest at 4%, Chople Berry at 9%, Charcoal was on that list too at a very low, like 1 or 2%. So there's other things to do with Heatran besides anti-ground, must fly or must take that hit, but they're not going to be as powerful as the anti-ground synergies you can get. Building with Heatran is kind of interesting. Heatran is good at being a kind of pivot for certain teams, but also wants other partners to pivot in for it. That very big ground weakness means that you probably want at least 1 to 2 flying types or levitate Pokemon on your team to help mitigate that. Think Groudon Wash, Celesteela, Landorus Therian, Galarian Moltres, Yveltal, Zapdos, things like that. Beyond that, you have Flash Fire as an ability, so on the opposite side, you could be a pivot for your other steel types, your bug types, your grass types, ice types, anything weak to fire. Or just like someone trying to set Sun. Easy switch in to eat that max flare, and you can just steamroll your opponent at that point. And don't feel pressured to Dynamax your Heatran. Yes, it's got a very good stat line. Yes, it's very powerful. But it could also just be a real good backline Pokemon, cleaning up with Stab Heat Waves or a Stab Flash Cannon. If the Dynamax is over, you don't really have to worry about Heatran as much because it's got some decent bulk in it to where it can survive a lot of those neutral hits, sometimes even survive spread super effective hits. So definitely think about Heatran as a backline threat as well as a Dynamax target. Looking at the stats and movesets here for Heatran, we see that Heatran's got very decent bulk at 91 HP and 106 in both defenses. This means that you can tank most neutral hits and even some super effective hits, especially in Dynamax. Beyond that, we see that we have this base 130 special attack. Being a Fire Steel type, you would expect decent defenses and some offensive capabilities, and that's where we're seeing here right now. That base 130 special attack means that your light heat waves, flash cannon, lava plume, overheat, earth power, whatever you want to play, is going to do a whole heaping ton of damage. There is physical sets you can run. I don't recommend it. 90 isn't terrible, but it's no 130 stat. As for your speed, base 77 is very middle of the road, if not on the lower side of my opinion. You're getting to maybe 140, like with Timid. So you're probably better off just not investing in speed at all and having maybe Trick Room or Tailwind to kind of help supplement that speed stat. This first moveset, though, is very, very standard, I feel like. A little bit of HP, enough speed to get somewhere for a little bit, max special attack, modest nature with Air Balloon. I feel like this would be the standard Heatran you would see almost. Maybe swap Air Balloon for Shuka Berry. You can kind of go back and forth on that. Flash Cannon, Earth Power, Overheat, Heat Wave, depending on what you want to play, Protect. It's fairly standard stuff. This next set is a little bit more on the bulkier side with Shuka Berry, making sure that you live like a special Max Quake, or make sure you survive some other stuff in like Dynamax. Again, Earth Power, Flash Cannon, Heat Wave, Protect, very standard moveset, nothing crazy here. The next set is Assault Vest. I like this one a lot more, mainly due to the fact that you just get access to Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse, Ancient Power, whatever you want to play in this slot can mean a ton for Heatran. Being able to pick up Calyrex Shadow, being able to lower attack on like a Zacian or something, being able to hit a Charizard for 4 times super effective damage instead of almost nothing, because Charizard resists or is immune to the rest of your attacks. Just the potential here is endless for Heatran. So this set is designed to kind of tank hits really, really well. You still have some speed investment, so you're not super duper slow, but you really want to have that Tailwind or maybe even Trick Room and go no speed investment with more special attack investment to help get you into those winning positions. When you're looking to beat up an opposing Heatran, remember that it is 4 times weak to ground. And it also struggles a lot against a lot of those popular restricted. So if you think about it, Kyogre hits it super effectively, Zacian can hit it super effectively, Groudon just blows the sucker out of the water. There's no real way to beat a Groudon with a Heatran. So saving those restricteds until the end, or at least until Heatran is out on the field, will usually mean that you're in a real good spot. And like I mentioned, ground is a very powerful type against it, especially since Max Quake boosts special defense, which means that every Max Quake, even if it's not into Heatran, means that Heatran's doing less damage to you. So it's a well-rounded synergy there. And water types are great at taking all of Heatran's stab. Usually they have Earth power to hit you for neutral damage, but that's all it's gonna do. It's not carrying Life Orb. It's not carrying if it's carrying Expert Belt, you don't care. It's not carrying Life Orb most of the time. So having a powerful water type attack, a water type Pokemon like a Blastoise, Kyogre, Ludicolo, or something like that to switch in and take that Flash Cannon, take that Max Steel Spike, take that Max Flare, is going to really help mitigate that Heatran's damage output, giving you a little bit more time to get into a better position against it. So to wrap up on Heatran tonight, Heatran has a lot of good things going for it, but you need to play smart to utilize all its tools effectively. Heatran is a very offensive-based Pokemon with some good bulk, but there's not a whole lot of defensive tools that it gets access to. I think you get Taunt, Bulldoze, and some other weird little things like that. But a lot of the times this Heatran you're going to go big, or you're going to be on a backline and just look to deal out as much damage as possible. And remember that if you have the right team around it, this goes for almost any Pokemon like this, you can use Heatran effectively to stall out opponents' Dynamaxes if you have a good system of pivots. Heatran has a real good set of resistances. If you think about it, being a Steel Fire type, there's not a lot it doesn't resist already. Fire type resists fairies alongside steel, ice. You lose your rock resistance because of the way weaknesses work, but being a steel fire type, it has a huge polar resistance. It's a great pivot Pokemon, so keep that in the back of your mind when you're looking for unique fire types to play with. And remember to always try to utilize Max Quake when you can. Ground type attacks are really good in the Heatran. Just be aware of maybe clicking into the partner Pokemon and not the Heatran, because your opponent's going to be expecting this kind of thing and probably has a good pivot for it. And with that being said, I want to thank y'all for listening to me ramble about Heatran today. Make sure to check us out on Twitter at @RLessons, at MrMissouri25, and at MusicalVGC. Make sure to check out the Discord link in the description down below. And remember to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications for when new videos go live, leave a comment and a like. You can probably head over to twitch.tv/MrMissouri25. Go catch Carter playing Shining Pearl. I know he's probably starting with Chimchar. Go give him a follow. Go give him a sub if you want to. Help him, support him out a little bit. And with that being said, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're at in the world. And we will see you all, I believe, on Sunday for our first Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl video. Bye, everyone.